Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of GoreCom, as we speak to small cap executives after they've been putting out important news, and they've been putting out a lot of it. It's Durango Resources, trades on TSX Venture on the stock symbol DGO. Our guest, Marcy Kiesman, she's president and CEO of the company. For those of you who are new to the story, that's going to be a lot of you because we're just coming out with it. Durango owns a 100% interest in the Trove claims. Those are surrounded by Osisko mining in the Windfall Lake Gold District between Val-d'Or and Chibougamau. I've always loved that name, Quebec. That Trove property is located along the structural trend that's hosting Osisko Mining's Windfall Lake deposit. And Osisko has recently purchased claims along the Trove property boundary. And those two cells, along with its Black Dog gold deposit, are tied to the Trove property northern boundary, about 500 meters away from Durango's planned drill target. So here to talk about all of that is Marcy. Welcome back.
Good afternoon. Nice to be here.
Great to have you. You certainly play with big neighbors. You got Osisko all around you, 500 meters, where you can literally throw a snowball and almost hit their property, their assets. What is it about Trove that was so special for you and is so special to Osisko being right around you?
Okay, well, so to be clear, the properties aren't special until we prove that they're special, which is exactly what we are working on currently. The old adage is if you want to find gold, go where they've already found it, which is exactly what we have done at Windfall Lake in Quebec. Durango holds a small land position in comparison to our big neighbors as Osisko. But realistically, you don't need a huge land position to have a deposit or mine.
Sure.
The key is to hold strategically positioned claims, which have the best potential to host this gold deposits. So our Trove property is special because we've got two known gold producing faults running through the property, which are great potential indicators for the property just alone on those two things. To date, we've done humus sampling, we've done till sampling, we've done some IP and airborne work, and currently we're working on surface trenching and exploration drilling on our Trove project. So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell for our work so far on the Trove.
Does all that work before you even started, does it give you great comfort knowing that Osisko is so nearby and that they're doing so much work so close to you? I'm assuming you can probably see them right across the way, right?
Yeah, well, we actually stumbled and saw one of their drill flags that was just about 300 meters over our property boundary when we were moving around up there. So yeah, they're definitely right there. And the one we just stumbled upon, we looked up and stuff, and it's the one that they've found up to 5 grams per ton gold. So it's great to know that there's gold around us. So we just have a better potential of finding it on our Trove property as well, which is what we want for not only us, but for all of our shareholders to keep everybody happy and making money.
And that number you just referenced, were those the drill results that Osisko put out last week on their Windfall Gold project?
No, the ones that they've been putting out, the last ones that I've been looking at are the ones that are further north up around their Lynx project, which is north of us yet, because they've got, as we know, quite a big land position. So they've got the Windfall Lake, they've got the Lynx deposit, and the Black Dog they're working on and drilling right now. And it's about 5 kilometers north of us. So there's work kind of all around us from Osisko, but the one that had the real nice big numbers is further north of us, up around their Lynx deposit.
So let's talk about what you're doing on Trove. You just announced drilling.
Yep.
What are you looking to achieve, and how big is this first program going to be?
So what we have permitted right now on the Trove is for 15 drill holes. And we're going to methodically go through those drill holes. We're starting at the holes that are nearest to the Osisko hole. That's like just 300 meters over our border first. And then we're working our way back from there. The plan at Trove so far is around 2,200 meters is what we've budgeted, but our drilling contract is to go up to 5,000 meters. And I've given our technical team free rein if they need to go deeper they can feel free to go deeper. And as long as we've got the permits and stuff on the holes that they're doing, they've got room to move on those holes deeper if they need to, if they see mineralization and want to check things out. We've got a great drill team up there, and we've got a great exploration crew, and they've been busy and fighting the elements. Literally, it's been pretty much record rains up there this last while. So we've had machinery getting stuck and things getting hauled out. It's been great fun.
So I guess it's fair to say, and I was going to ask you, even though it's early, any progress update, but I'm assuming, it's still way too early for much of an update there.
For drill results, yeah, we're going to be a little bit yet. As we all know, COVID's affected every aspect of the world, and this is just another one of them. A lot of the labs that we have been talking to and working with, they've got room at the labs, but they don't have anyone to work in the lab because people are off on the government assistance programs. So right. It's slow, but we're expecting our channel samples, because we did a lot of mechanical trenching at surface on the Trove, and we did in a couple hundred sample range. So we've sent them to 2 different labs, and we're expecting to get those back relatively soon. It's been a while. The crew's been up and working on the projects up there since September 3rd, and we're getting into almost the middle of October. So things will be starting to come back shortly, which will be good. Hopefully we'll have some good news to report on those before we can get our drill results.
It's funny that you brought the mechanical trenching, because some people would think that this is coordinated between us, but it's not. In your last press release, you actually have a quote that I want to ask you on that. So here's an excerpt.
Oh, okay.
The results in the mechanical trenching, and the results of the mechanical trenching this month have been eye-opening. Right. And whenever I see things like that, I say, okay, I've got to drill down further, have been eye-opening with the discovery of a sizable northeast shear zone, multiple locations with quartz veining and pyrite at surface, and important geological indicators near the initial drill targets. Now, for a lot of people at home, they're not going to understand what that means, but it definitely sounds like an enthusiastic quote when you say have been eye-opening. So in layman's terms, maybe you can explain to us why those are eye-opening.
Well, I could do layman's terms because I am a layman. I'm not a geologist, so I'm just an armchair geologist. So basically, yeah, the mechanical trenching has been very successful up at our Trove property, because there's a lot of overburden, which is just like a lot of low-lying shrubs and small trees that we've cleared out. And with the trenching, we were within a day be able to open everything up so we could see the rocks that were near surface. And we found this northeast shear zone. So why these shear zones are important is they basically run through our Trove property, and they run up towards, one's running up into Windfall Lake, the Rouleau fault, and then there's a berry fault that runs up to goes to the Gladiator deposit of Bonterra Resources. So this is pretty interesting that we can like visibly see it. We've done airborne surveys, we've done IP, which are a way that you can see things from a distance. You go up in the air with the magnetic, and you can see the highs and lows. Your resonance
gives you an image.
Yeah, and then you can see basically where the cracking of the earth is, and where the rocks are changing direction, and which way things are moving, which is important, because in order for gold to flow up into these places, we want where there's been lots of friction, lots of action and cracking, so the gold can flow up into these places. And we can now map out and look and say, okay, the IP and the airborne surveys showed this, and we actually can physically see it at surface where it's coming out and outcropping, and it lines up perfectly with all the other information that we assumed to be true and that was there. And now we can literally see, okay, there it is, and it lines up with everything that we've done to date. So that's great. And the fact that it's only 75 meters away from one of Durango's high priority drill targets is even better. So hopefully when
that must have been a great surprise. That must have been a great surprise, right? Because if you practically stumbled upon it.
Well, yes and no. The reason we planned our drill holes, we've spent months and months planning everything in order to try to intersect these things. So it's great to know that we weren't wrong, basically.
Yeah, well, that's a great start. Let's talk about, so while we're waiting for all that to happen, so that's great, a lot of action, and we're expecting results that start coming back in due time. So you're going to be back quite a bit in 2020, that's for sure. For everyone at home, Windfall Lake, it's not just you and Osisko. That's the most active gold exploration camp in Canada, from what I understand. And there are 21 drill rigs on site at Windfall as of June. So give everyone a bit of an overview of how big Windfall Lake is and why it's so smart for you to be there.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, basically north of us and surrounding the Trove property, we have Osisko Mining, which everybody has probably heard of that is interested in Canadian gold mining. And Osisko right now has just over 5 million ounces, I believe, at their Windfall Lake deposit. And Bonterra Resources has 838,000 ounces at the Berry deposit, which is also north of us. And then a little further northeast of us, the Gladiator deposit is 1.1 million ounces in a deposit there. And so far that camp has over 7 million ounces of indicated and inferred gold resources just in the immediate area of us, so which is fantastic. We do have a common denominator with one of our neighbors to the north, Bonterra, as Dale Ginn is head of our technical team. And he was also VPX for Bonterra Resources and when they discovered the Gladiator deposit just north of us. So he's been weighing in and keeping an eye on things and guiding and directing us as we go along with our exploration right now. So he's pretty excited to see what we're gonna pull out of the ground as well.
It certainly helps to have someone like him along who's actually been successful discovering gold
yes, Dale's
in the region. If anyone knows how to
for
find
sure.
it again, it's him.
He's made like 7 discoveries and one of them is not very far away from us. So, and he's also a shareholder of Durango as well as all of the members of our technical team, which is great.
Yeah, and for everyone at home, that's something I should mention, and I'm glad Marcy kind of reminded me there. 40% insider ownership, including Marcy herself at 16%. That's as of the latest numbers. You guys you've all put your money where your mouth is, and that's a big difference from a lot of companies out there who they do the work, they're good companies, but at the end of the day, they're collecting a nice paycheck and not really going for it. Whereas, what does it say? What should it tell everyone that the management team, there's 40% inside ownership, including 16% of that being you?
Well, like you said, if you wanna play, you're gonna have to play big. We've got big neighbors to play with. You put your money where your mouth is. I'm damned and determined to find a gold deposit. And in the past year, gold prices have already come up from like $1,450 to over 2,000 US per ounce. So we've got a lot of indicators that are going in, and definitely if I could be buying more right now, I would be, but while we're drilling, I don't think it's prudent for me to be purchasing any more shares in the deal.
But that's
like
great
July,
enthusiasm.
yeah, in July, just Canada's deficit forecast was projected for like $243 billion, which is the largest deficit shortfall since World War II. And I just was reading in the headlines yesterday in the US, the cost of COVID is probably going to be around $16 trillion, which is crazy. It's like almost a full year's GDP for the USA. So this means that our gold price is not going lower anytime soon. The feds are just flooding the markets with currency, and it's not just North America. This is a global thing, not just a global pandemic we're dealing with. We're dealing with global currency deflation.
Global printing pandemic.
Right.
And
it's a printing press that's not stopping, which means gold and is just going to continue to rise. And it's been great for us juniors. It's been the financings that I've seen come out in the last few months are just phenomenal. With all the money, all these juniors can now hit the bush and get working on our properties that we've been waiting so desperately for. Now we're going to find out there's going to be a lot more new discoveries. And so therefore the sharing prices are going to be increasing for all these juniors, and it's going to reward all shareholders like myself and hopefully you and everybody else and everyone who's risked their capital and supported all these juniors. I think we're all going to be winners in the end, and Durango is a big part of this rush. We're super excited. We just completed a $2.8 million financing, which is the biggest in the history of the company. Now we've got money to drill and explore our properties like we've never had before. We've got a fantastic technical team, exploration crew that's willing to work 24/7. It's exciting to be part of Durango. And so excited, and I want everyone who's a shareholder out there to know that our team is giving 110% for this program. We've spent months and months planning it, working on it, making sure we had everything just so. And I actually want to take 1 minute to just say thank you to all of our shareholders, whether you've been a shareholder for 2 days or for 10 years. You guys, some of you guys have been in like me for the long haul, and I just want to say thank you. And I hope that your long wait will not be disappointing.
Marcy, this is what I love about our videos. You just can't get that kind of raw emotion, that kind of leadership through a press release or a blog post. And I actually was going to ask you a couple more questions about, but I want to end it right there because that was powerful. I love it. And it shows, that you're all in on this. You're passionate about it because you've got just as big a stake as all the other shareholders. So if anyone's motivated to see something great happen for Durango, it's you. And thanks for that. That was, even for me as a shareholder, that was powerful stuff.
Oh, cool. That's good.
You've been watching or you've been listening by podcast, Marcy Kiesman. She's president and CEO of Durango Resources. As you can tell, the company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the stock symbol DGO. Now, you've heard or listened to what Marcy had to say. Now it's your turn. You got to do some due diligence. First thing you might want to do is get to the Durango Hub and Agoracom, specifically the profile page, where we've laid everything out for you in a great overview summary, because we know there's a lot to absorb here, but we're going to give you that first overall summary. Then go over to the Durango side, do some deep dive into not only Trove, but up in Windfall Lake and up in Quebec. They've also got the East Barrie. They've also got the Discovery property. We'll talk about those next time. So there's a lot below the surface for Durango, and hopefully today you've discovered your next great small cap gold company. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a fantastic day. See you next time.
Thanks, George.